I got a client recently. I didn't pitch them. I didn't ask for a call. I didn't send a 5 paragraph LinkedIn message trying to explain what I do. All I did was I sent them a phone number and I said, call it. So they did that. And that one moment did more selling for me than any pitch that I could have ever written. Here's exactly what I did and why I'm never going cold the old way again. For a long time, outreach looked like this. You find a prospect, you write a message explaining who you are, what you do, why it's relevant to them, and then you sort of ask them to book a call to hear more about it. This is how kind of the old way it went. But think about this from their side. They don't know you. You're asking them to carve out 30 minutes of their calendar to sit through what is essentially a sales pitch for something they haven't even validated yet from their side. So the friction here is enormous. And even if they're mildly curious, that curiosity rarely survives the 3-day gap between, sure, let's chat, and then the actual call that you set up with them. Cold calling has the same problem. It's just louder and sort of more intrusive. You're interrupting someone's day to ask for their attention. The answer is almost always no. Not because your product is bad, but because the format you're going about is broken. So I sort of started to think about this differently. The real goal of outreach isn't to book a call, it's to create a moment of genuine curiosity, something that makes the prospect think, okay, I need to know more about this, or okay, I need more information on this. And I realized the best way to create that moment isn't to describe what I do, it's to let them experience it themselves. So how do I do that? I work with the Voice AI, building agents that handle calls, answer questions, qualify leads. Explain that in a message itself is fine, but it doesn't land the same way as just hearing it themselves. So I changed my approach. A short LinkedIn message, no pitch, just context. I built voice agents for businesses like yours, and then here's a number, call it and see what it does. And that's exactly what happened with my initial client. What they did was I sent them a phone number. I sent a short note along with that. Told them I thought what I was building could be relevant to what they were doing. I didn't oversell it too much. I didn't ask for their time. I just dropped the number in our chat. They called it. The agent picked up and they handled the conversation exactly the way it's supposed to and the way I structured. And by the time we actually spoke with the client, they weren't coming in cold anymore. They've already seen it work. The call we had wasn't essentially me trying to pitch them. It was them asking, how soon can we do this? And how soon can we get this into our business? That's a completely different conversation and a much more beneficial one. There's a principle here that goes beyond voice AI. People don't trust descriptions, they trust experiences. When you tell someone what you do, they're skeptical by default. When they experience it though, even for 60 seconds, that skepticism disappears automatically. They've now formed their own opinion and it's positive and it feels like their conclusion, it's not something you convince them of. They have their own thoughts, they have their own right mindset. LinkedIn is the right place for this because the context is professional. People are already in a business mindset. A short, direct message that respects their time and gives them something more tangible to interact with performs way better than a pitch because it doesn't feel like a pitch. You're not asking sort of, hey, can I have your trust? You're earning it in real time by sending those messages. So here's how I think about outreach now. A short message, specific context, show you actually looked at them, their profile, you know a lot about them, you did your due diligence. And one clear thing to interact with is not a list of features and no ask up front. Let the thing speak for itself first. If what you sell can be demoed, shown, tested, or experienced in any form, that's your outreach. Lead with the experience, the conversation flows naturally. Cold calls and pitch messages put you in a selling mode and them in a defensive mode from the first second. This flips it. They initiate, they explore, and then they come interested. That's essentially the whole game with this. I'm not trying to say that cold outreach is dead. I'm saying the format most people are using is. The goal hasn't changed. You still need to earn attention and build trust fast, but the best way to do that in 2026 is to give something real before you ask for anything. Send the number, let them call it, and let the work do the talking. If you're building anything in the voice AI or sales automation space, drop a comment. I'd love to hear what's working for you. And if this was useful, subscribe because I talk about this stuff a lot. And if you want to hear the number that I pitched to my client, check the description out, call it yourself, see how it works, copy what I did, and I'll see you next time.